Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go.
Look in my eyes, tell me your tale, then you see the road. I'm out to my soul, and tell me the size whenever the smoke clear out of my face. And my picture perfect, and do I look fine?
Nah, I'ma do my own thing.
Look in my eyes, tell me your tale, then you see the road. I'm out to my soul, and tell me the size whenever the...
Are you ready to be entertained? Let's get into another reaction, y'all, of Munsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story. We know now, well, we see that they were already in jail. One of the brothers has this female lawyer who seems like she is playing no games here. She also reminds me, have you guys seen Matilda? When Matilda was adopted by those two people, the mother in Matilda's life, the one who was adopting her, that's what this lawyer reminds me of. Every time I saw her in the last episode, I was like, is that the lady from Matilda? Like, what's going on here? But regardless, we now know what's going on. We don't know where the other brother's lawyer is, but regardless, we're going to see what's going to happen further on in this story. Side note to a side note to all side notes. I believe that now, just like what they did with Jeffrey Dahmer, Netflix drops this type of show, but then I believe they're going to be giving a documentary in October sometime. I don't remember when, I believe. Don't quote me. I don't think I ever saw a trailer for it, but I saw it come up on one of my list of shows that are going to be coming out in October. So I'm not sure if you guys would like us to watch that documentary if it does come out in October, if we should see that as well, which would obviously be more to the facts other than what this show is. As we know, as we stated, as many have stated, this show does put some other in here that actually did not happen. That's how they made this particular show, and that's how they're going to make these type of shows, because the Munsters is continuing for a season 3. And from my understanding, this season did, I don't know the numbers as high as Jeffrey Dahmer, but from my understanding, this definitely did very well. So hopefully there will be a season 4, 5, and a 6. But regardless, let me know down below if you are interested in seeing that documentary when it does, or if it does come out in October sometime. Let's get into this episode, y'all. While you're here, please don't forget to hit that like button, share, and comment. Now, without further ado, let's jump into Munsters and find out exactly what this show has got to give. Whose creepy ass man is this? 1988, California. They knew exactly where to go. These people have money. What? A whole gym set? That safe looks familiar. Oh, they were
tell us.
They were thieves.
Never get caught.
When they were younger.
You did get caught, and your father had Erik take the fall for that, right?
Well, yeah.
That's how you met Jerome Oziel?
Yes. Part of our punishment was that we had to start seeing a therapist.
I had a conversation with Erik. Told me some things I want to get your side of. Told me you abused him sexually, and that your father did the same thing to you.
Is she trying to pin this all on me?
No, this is just typical. In trials such as these, we both need to hear this story.
My dad is evil, and that's just not true, okay? That's not who he was. My father was a great man, and I loved him a great deal. He held us to this higher standard, right? And then you two bring me in here to talk about how fucking terrible he was.
I'm just not gonna do that, okay? He loved me.
Lyle, you shot him in the head. You see how that doesn't make sense?
I don't understand who my dad was and what he wanted from me. He wanted me to be number one.
At what?
At everything. I had to be the best at tennis.
Oh, there you go! Yes, that's my boy! Yes!
Essay's absolutely childish and pathetic.
I had to date the best girls.
But that's her.
No way. Mom. Nuh-uh. That girl is not eating off of my good china. Fuck are you talking about? She's outside.
You open that door and I swear to God I fucking killed you. Sit down. Hello? Okay, Lyle is not free to date you, sweetheart.
Destined for Princeton. I, Joseph Lyle Menendez, am destined for greatness.
Hold on. Are you talking to him or me? Because I wrote that. How you get into Princeton. That's an essay.
Dad, isn't that...
What, cheating? Every fucking body cheats in this world. You know how you get all this?
Lie. Cheat.
Never get caught.
But you did get in.
It took a while, and I had to do a year of community college first.
I was caught plagiarizing a partner psychology lab assignment, and that's a direct.
Do they have labs in psychology? Really?
You see, a psychologist, he never says, bye, I'm off to the lab. Come on.
My son didn't cheat on something important.
Cheated, I will beat the hell out of him for it. But he's not getting expelled. Even so much money, so much fucking money, year after year.
We have to work something out.
I'm that serious. I will piss in my pants.
Best I can do is a 1-year suspension.
Coming to LA this summer, you got a job with me, you're gonna be an executive trainee, and everything is perfectly fine.
My mom and dad had moved to California because my dad got this big job.
Oh, his hand's coming out.
What the fuck?
And Lyle here, he's on summer break, getting straight A's. Boom, 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 one after the other. Now, he's our newest management trainee. Life Entertainment, welcome to Lyle Menendez. Hey, hold on. Are you losing your hair?
Just what a fucking douchebag.
Fucking rich kids. When you get a great fit with this model.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
I don't know if this is the right one.
I know. Está bien bravo, you look great on that. You wanna be a killer, right? Wanna go into politics? Then you gotta have a good head of hair.
But what if I don't want to wear a wig? And what if I don't want to wear a wig?
We can discuss this at home, okay? No, you're wearing a wig. How about you saying thank you, Dad, for all you're doing for me?
Thank you very much for what you're doing for me.
Exactly. Okay.
Before you were suspended, back to the robberies and meeting Oziel.
Lyle. Out of town, so he threw a party. Shepard here found the combo to the safe on like a fucking post-it note.
Lyle, it is so fucking easy. We know all the kids are out of town on vacation.
Computer?
Yep.
One solo flex machine, large fireproof safe, stuff they pawned, jewelry, some pieces of china. And then they say that there was $8,000 in cash.
Okay, just give me a number and I'll cut a check.
Really sorry, Dad.
No. Please don't. I don't want to hear a word out of your mouth. Lyle, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah. We're sorry.
No.
And thank you for bailing us out.
Nope. You don't get it. You both are out of the will. I cheat, steal, but do not fucking get caught! Judge says they gotta do it, and they're gonna do it. My kids don't need therapy, for Christ's sake. They're fine. My kids are not going there to talk about this family or anything that goes on in this house. They're there to talk about the robberies and how sorry they are and the regret they feel.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Now, which one of you is Erik?
I'm Erik.
And why didn't you tell him about the abuse? About the sexual abuse?
I didn't know that my dad was still doing that stuff with Erik, like the stuff that he used to do with me. He hadn't fucking told me that yet.
Why didn't you tell anybody? Telling us everything else, but you're not telling us that. If your father abused you sexually, we need to hear about it. Okay?
Sorry,
Take your time.
Erik knows, obviously. And Donovan, my cousin, she was living with us. I wanted to sleep in the basement with her so that my dad couldn't come down there. And I remember asking her, does your dad ever touch your privates? And she just looked at me.
How old were you when this started?
6, I think. I don't know. It's kind of like a movie, I guess. Everything's in slow motion. It started with massages after tennis and stuff. I remember his hands. It felt special, like I was the center of his world, and we would fondle.
And did your mother know that this was happening?
I didn't think so, no.
Oh, well, actually, she did know.
Anyway, when I turned 7 years old, he started showing me movies.
Pornographic movies.
And I would have to, and then I'd have to kneel on the tile, which had this really weird pattern on it. I feel like I looked at it a lot. When I do it, I'll do it in that pattern. Be kneeling, and then he would just guide my movements.
Guide your movements to fondle him. When you were 7, your father made you perform oral sex on him.
Yes, I know I was 7 because I had just gotten the Sesame Street stuffed animal family, and Oscar had a lot of really strong opinions about it, and Ernie always wanted to play with me after. Because my dad, he started to incorporate objects. He would get me naked, and then he would insert the objects. And I knew that that was strange, and I told my cousin about that. My mom didn't believe her, she just didn't fucking care. Started to do it to Erik. Like it when my dad did it to me. He didn't like it either. He would always ask me to stop. My dad was doing it to me, I had to make that normal. Even though I knew that it fucking wasn't. The sex stuff got worse. And we started showering together. And he would read me. I told him that it hurt. And that I wanted it to stop. He said, I remember, I love you, and I don't want to hurt you, and it'll stop. It stopped. And now I know why, because he was doing it to Erik. So I walked up to him, and I told him that I knew what was happening. He looked at me, and he said,
Erik, make things up. Keep this between us, okay?
It wasn't until much later that I found out that he was now fucking doing it to Erik.
Wow, I gotta tell you something.
And when he fucking told me that, I felt like by hating Erik and loving me, and by fucking hating Erik.
No, 47. Come on, Erik, Jesus, you can do 1 minute. Come on.
I saw how my dad fucking treated him, and then I treated him the same way. What kind of person does that to their brother? What kind of sick fuck? I didn't like it when my dad did it to me, and then I fucking did it to him.
I know what's going on between you and Erik. I swear to fucking Christ, this is done. This is done. No more between you two. And you are never to touch him. Not ever.
We'll tell everyone.
So that's your decision then, is it?
Fucking stop, like you promised.
Yeah, but you've made your choice. Now be like a fucking man and do it. Fucking do it. Erik made his choice. You made your choice. I will make mine.
I didn't have to imagine what he meant by that. I knew. He was gonna fucking kill us.
Now, ladies, I
so
never
sad.
repeat gossip, so listen carefully.
How were you able to get a tour of the Menendez house?
No. Let's just say it always pays to know a good realtor in Beverly Hills. The house has quite a royal pedigree. Can't help but notice the appallingly second-rate furniture. But once you move past the tacky furnishings, your attention is immediately drawn to the television room. If you look long enough. Obvious to me that the brothers entered from behind, catch their parents by surprise. Jose and Kitty were completely unarmed.
Think it was premeditated?
It was absolutely premeditated. Thinking about doing this for weeks, years.
No clue. We were writing a fucking blueprint for how Erik was gonna off his parents.
They were just fed up with the situation and decided they were finally gonna put an end to it.
Cared about was being driven around in limousines.
Dude wrote up this crazy-ass escape plan.
Some family members continue to rally to their defense.
This company had him in Kitty's murder because of the insurance money. Como se dice? How do you say? Greedy motherfuckers!
Erik and Lyle are amongst the best clients I have ever had. They are adorable.
You think their motive was? Money?
You don't murder your parents. Blasting them with shotguns at close range. Reload your gun when you realize your mother is still alive, like a maimed animal, barely clinging to life. You don't walk up to her through the gun smoke over shell casing. Look her in the eye so that she knows it was you. And then, that's not about money. That's about something deeper, darker, goes beyond hate.
I wonder why we didn't hire you to do the rewrites on Pretty Woman.
Nightmare on Elm Drive.
Les, you shouldn't even be reading that.
Well, unfortunately, the rest of America is reading it. Now I have to deal with pseudo-journalists, fucking armchair psychologists. Jose and Kitty were having ice cream and fruit. His daughter was murdered, which is a terrible tragedy. But does that give him the right to traffic in lies and be a journalistic lackey?
Did you really call Lyle and Erik adorable?
The point is that thanks to him, public opinion is now fucked.
Then maybe you should just quit the case.
I can't quit. Why I still smoke? Because most of the press are assholes.
Okay, I get it. You're an attack dog. Just try not to flip anyone off at our adoption follow-up next week.
I can't. I'm sorry. I have a pre-trial hearing on the Oziel tapes.
Les, we've already rescheduled twice.
Tim.
Maybe we should save ourselves the hassle and adopt Lyle and Erik.
Well, maybe just Erik. I know you've had a lot of people hounding you with questions over the last couple of months.
I really do not want to be put on that witness stand.
After all, Erik did use your ID to buy the shotguns. I'd imagine you'd be willing to do anything you could to help with his defense. You know, he's facing the gas chamber.
They still got that in California?
When you and Lyle were roommates, what kind of stuff did you talk about?
Our dreams, our aspirations, our families. Well, we both had very domineering fathers. Though Jose was 10 times worse than my own man.
Secrets with you about his family, specifically about his dad.
He told me his father had an affair. And how when his mom found out, practically killed her.
That he's put us all through. Maybe he should be fucking killed. The guy's impossible to live with.
A couple weeks later, we're at this Chinese restaurant, just him and I.
Salute!
Nothing that we wouldn't do for each other.
No, obviously.
Really bad shit were to happen to me, look after Erik and my mom.
There really is nothing more important than family, huh?
With real fucking family, you can't have any secrets.
Agreed.
It's getting weird.
So there's nothing that you're hiding from me.
And in that moment, it felt like Lyle was testing me. I told him I was molested when I was a kid. I remember the room where it happened, the pictures on the walls, the smell of the guy's and that was the first time I ever told anybody, so I wasn't sure how Lyle was going to react.
I'm here for you, though. I know what you're going through.
Thanks, man.
I fucking know. Erik and I, we were molested too. By our dad.
Confessed to you about being sexually abused by his dad 4 months before the murder.
Tell me about the creepy fucking showers they used to take. And it sounds like Erik got the worst. In fact, I think the hardest part for Lyle was that he couldn't protect Erik.
What was so special about that weekend? Why did you feel like your lives were in danger then?
I got home late that night and I was in bed already.
Come on, I love these together.
I told you not to tell anyone. You did this. You destroy our family. Get off of me.
You don't understand.
Of course I do. You think I didn't know?
Please do.
What are you saying?
I cared about keeping this family together.
And then that she was gonna take my dad's side no matter what. Even after everything that he had done to her, all the cheating, it didn't fucking matter.
She knows. Well, she knows. We don't have much time.
I don't think that you understand my mom. There were these birds that she hated, plovers. One time, she actually brought Erik with her to buy one.
I'm gonna kill somebody with this.
He thought she meant our dad.
That is what I'm gonna get next. Fits right in my purse.
You thought she had a handgun.
With a silencer.
Wait, that was Friday?
Saturday, we were supposed to go on that big fishing trip.
Boat trip tomorrow's been pushed back. It's not 11 anymore, it's 4 p.m.
It would be dark outside and then they could dump us over the side and say that we drowned or whatever.
I know, because you don't go shark fishing at night.
Shit, they're still here.
Come on, the boat's leaving. Jesus, come on.
It's a lie, right? So after he confronted them, everybody acted normal?
Who's ready to catch some sharks?
I mean, sharks are more active at night. Just saying.
Don't go. Just stay together. They can't get us both. I'm sorry that you felt like you couldn't come to me.
I'm sorry that I did that to you.
It's not your fault.
You want a fish?
I don't know. No idea. What are you doing? Get in.
We're gonna meet Perry. Perry's picking us up.
We're gonna have a talk, okay? Iron some things out. Come on.
It's okay, you go ahead.
In that moment that we decided that we were never going to give them another opportunity to hurt us, going to protect them.
You want to shoot birdshot or buckshot? That's not going to stop a bad guy.
So this was a really good episode, y'all. We dove deeper into what the story was, with the brothers being the M word. You know, YouTube is very, you know, iffy with their words, but they were M word or R word. It's just like you have to guess what I'm saying. I hope you guys know what I'm saying. But by their father, this part of the show and learning about what happened was extremely emotional for me. I don't really want to dive too, you know, into it, but it's very, yeah. So, yeah. It's, you know, things like this happen to so many people, so many kids, so many families out there that go through this. I'm a strong advocate for saying, I don't even think that's advocate's a word, the word I'm looking for, but I'm a person that really does feel that no child was born with hate in their heart, that there are situations that has happened in that child's life that alter or change or affect a child to how they grow up and how they interact with society. And being the M word or R word, especially when you're young, just any time, but kids, doing that to kids and then doing that to your own family, your own child is boggling to me. Extremely sad. There are people that could overcome it, but still have those PTSD moments where they get triggered by a sound or a place or wording or something that they could just snap off like that. And seeing that these two brothers went through this, and I believe this really did happen in real life, at least in their story that they told, that this trauma bond is what I call it, definitely brought the brothers closer together, that by the ending of it made them kill, in their eyes, made them kill their parents because of this. If the mother was like this cold, I'm very curious to know, were the parents really like this? Were they really cold? And I also do know from family members who are not born in this country, they are super, well, I'll speak about my own family. They're nothing like this. They are not monsters. But my family that was not born in this country and came to this country, growing up, they were super strict, like super strict. And I wonder, and I have like 2 Cuban friends, and their parents are actually from Cuba themselves. And their parents are, well, the mother is super cool, but the father, from my understanding, I never met the father, but was super, super, super strict. And I'm kind of interested in seeing if the parents were actually how this show is portraying them, or how the children, the Menendez brothers, actually said they were. And not that that's a justification for the actions that they took against their parents by killing them, because nobody should do that to anybody. But it does like paint the story on why they would do this. What I'm still disconnected is why they would kill their parents, and then if they did kill their, well, they did kill their parents, why did they go shopping? Like, why did they shop? Why did they go on a shopping spree and like live their best lives? And why, you know, it's also interesting that they were stealing, but they had so much money. But it was like this act out, like, we don't need you guys. Like, you guys aren't protecting us. This is how I'm taking this from the show. But you guys aren't protecting us, you guys are abusing us, and we're gonna lash out. And it's interesting to how they lashed out on stealing, on stuff that they could actually get if they needed it, I think. Because the father just seemed to be like all about education and just making perfect children. And I'm very curious also why he was focused on Lyle so much. And Lyle's opinion of it was that the father hated hated Erik. Why did the father hate Erik? Does the father hate Erik because Erik is Erik gay? I'm still kind of like lost in like understanding what's going on. Obviously Erik is attracted to men because he's in prison and he's, you know, attracted to that man. But is that why the father probably like, but then the father was M-wording his two sons who are obviously men. That's how his sons. So it's all of this. And then also a lot of people hate what they are. So the father doing this to his kids, what's the backstory of the father? And also the father might have been gay. Then the father's cheating on the wife or bisexual. Then his father's cheating on the wife allegedly. It's just so much. And I just don't understand if it is deemed to be true that the mother didn't know that her children were being M-word or R-word or both by the father. And she was like okay with it because she's so insecure with herself and she just was letting it be. That's insane to me. I do know that other people commented on the last reaction saying that Lyle, I believe you guys said Lyle, didn't ever yell at anybody except for a few cousins or something, which means he did yell. I always laugh when people say, I never steal, except for that one time that I stole. Like, so you do steal, you have stolen. Past tense is still a tense, but regardless, so possibly Lyle is being portrayed here as like this super angry person, etc., etc. I know for me and what I went through as a kid and dealing with even abuse, not from my mom, obviously. My mom is amazing. I love my mom. Shout out to my mom. And seeing shit like this also reminds me, damn, my mom was a great mother. My mom fucking held, excuse my language, my mom held us down, 3 kids of our own, working endless jobs, coming home for like a half an hour to an hour and then going back to work to go overnights, working. My mom nonstop worked to make sure that her kids were in good school, was being fed, had clothes on our backs, and then she decided to get all these goddamn animals on, excuse my language, Lord, but get all these animals on top of it. So, I mean, she was, you know, but seeing things like this, I'm like, thank God, like my mom was like a really good mother. What was I saying? ADD is real. I do have it, so she couldn't fix that. But regardless, whatever I was saying, I can't remember what I was saying. I'm all over the place. I don't know. This is a really sad show. I knew, like, I started getting emotional hearing about all this stuff. I do know a lot of people that have gone through as a child and what has happened to them. So all of that was just like in my head and going through it and dealing with it and processing it and just, you know, I would go more into depth about even my own childhood at certain times, but I feel like I don't want to. Like, I feel like some things I just should not, you know, divulge, especially like here. But like, I'm so open that one side of me is like, just, you know, open up. The reason why I'm also super blunt too, and dealing, especially topics like this, is because I feel like maybe my voice could help somebody else out who feels like trapped, or like that maybe they feel like they're the only ones and you're not. I know I speak very loudly about how I was in an abusive relationship multiple times, and I struggled with it for years, being abused. So I do know I speak about that often because I want people to know, if anybody has going through it, that you are not alone, and to love yourself and that you could do better, right? And that you will survive. So things like this, also stuff like this, there's so much that when you see somebody either in public or just bypassing, you never know what that person who's passing by has gone through. And they don't know what you have gone through. And it's just like so many stories of people of, you know, we put on this face like we're good. And like, obviously the Menendez brothers, they had friends, they went out, they did whatever they did, and people didn't know. Because you're putting out this front, but if they can only peel back that outer layer and get inside and know the story, the actual story of what you're going through, I feel like that's what we're missing in today's society, because all of us are in our phones. But if we talk to each other a lot more and express and then let people in, then you know what? I feel like this world would be a much better place. Racism probably would change, not for everybody because people are just stuck in their ways. Racism, hate, people who don't understand sexuality or sexual orientation, religion. If we just opened up that outer layer and let people inside, I feel like it could change. And sadly, in situations like this, it didn't happen earlier. And this seems to be a repeating situation with serial killers or murderers who go out, and I'm not saying all, but a lot of murderers or serial killers, if once you peel back and you dive into their lives, that their lives was fucked up and they didn't have an escape route. They didn't have somebody to speak to. They were alone going through this as a younger person, and then as they grew up, it just all shit hit the fan. And this happened with countless serial killers or murderers. And I've watched a lot of documentaries, and read stories as well. So it's very sad. And I do know that people said that they know stuff about Lyle, but also what do we actually know? Lyle's story, Erik's story, the parents' story, Netflix story, and then somewhere here is the truth. So just because Netflix is telling you this story and they're really honest and letting you guys know, hey, there's stuff in here that's not actually what happened. I thought that people understood that from the Jeffrey Dahmer story, because not all of that was true. But from hearing this part of the story and then people just believing what Lyle says or Erik says, how are we taking one side over the other? You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? None of us were there. None of us. At least I wasn't there, y'all. I wasn't there. So I'm just going by from what I read, what I hear, and then I'm processing it. And I still feel compassion because I'm a human. So I feel compassion for what they went through as kids if this story is deemed to be true. And I'm sure, I deem it to be true. It's still saddening, and it's disheartening that they went through this and their own father, their own parents were a part of this tragic part in their life. But it also doesn't excuse you from doing what you did. And that's the gist of it. Good episode, y'all. Expect more. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe 5 more episodes to go. Right? Regardless, thank you guys so much for being here. While you're here, check out all my other reactions, and until next time, I'm off this.
You gotta choose a side. You gotta do what's right. Look, I ain't got no time to be hanging around. Nobody trying to figure out if they good or evil. I'm fighting the crime, saving your lives one at a time. I'm killing the rhymes. I do it for the people. I'm Peter Parker running through the 6 with a bag.